Good morning, it's Bruce Ferris here, 5th of September 2019. When you're in real estate, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ballard marketplace and take a look at the statistics. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the daily statistics of overall listings coming into the marketplace. This is from 145th down to South Othello, from water to water, left and right, east and west, that is, and looking at only two bed, two bath houses. There you go, I can say it. Green columns here are those coming into the market, newly actives. The browns are various forms of pending as inspections. We're going to take a look here at the recent rise in listings coming in right about there. We have in the bright green, these are low numbers. So we're seeing a low set of pendings taking place. But interestingly, over here in the far right column, this is really where the information comes in. We're seeing basically the relationship between pendings and newly actives staying in the 60 range. We are down at the low end of the 60s here at 63%, but that would be very typical for a post-holiday situation. So we had the Labor Day weekend. These numbers very well may pop back up again, but you can see here we've been averaging just between 60 and 70% in terms of actives versus pendings, pendings versus actives. Another thing we'd like to track here, and then we'll move on, is how many of those properties that when they go pending, they do that in 6 days. So there was a time back here in the earlier part of the year where we were in the 40 plus range. That's those the bright reds here. And there's one at 59%, 39, there's the 30s, they're up in the high 30s, there's the 43s, and then we drop down. And so we've been right around the 20 to 25% range here in the last few weeks, right? And there they are. And then before that, for a few weeks, we were mostly in the 30% range. And so 30% were going off market within 6 days. That would indicate a number of properties that were doing that in multiple offer situations. Let's go ahead and take a look at InfoSparks now. This is a really interesting one. I am looking specifically at the area that is Ballard here. You can see this is from 32nd on the left and 3rd Avenue Northwest on the right, 85th in the north, and down to about Market. I'm comparing Ballard to the overall, what I'll call north sector, up to about 100th in terms of Seattle, and then I also compare it to the overall Seattle marketplace as well. So let's go take a look at the InfoSparks. Let's go back for the last 10 years and see historically what's been taking place here. Black on this is Ballard. Green on this is the central north area I had, and then the orange is Seattle overall. So starting back in 2009, Ballard at 244, basically right, those all three of them right in the mid to low 240s. Here we start seeing the rise in the market right around 2012, 2013 kicks off, and the Ballard area all of a sudden has a surge. It does it again. 2014 in that portion. Here we are in the first part of 2015. It does it again. Now we're at 379. So let's take a look at each one of those surges. 291, 329, 379, 420. There we are right there. May 467. And then we had a huge surge in price per square foot for those 3-bedroom homes, and boom, it hit up to 537 and it crested at 549, call it 550. Now this was right around May and June, and we had a perceptible drop in market, which took place for a number of reasons, part of which was political at this point, and people started withdrawing from being in multiple offers, and we saw it drop from that crest at 550 down to 452, and then we saw a recovery, which was interesting, right up until March, April, 482. So from 549. Now, if I look at this historically, 482, going back here, is higher than any point in the last 10 years, except for this crest. And obviously those who, if you're a seller, if you sold in this time frame, you were a lucky person. If you were a buyer and you bought in this time frame, you ended up buying at what we'll call the little bubble, the top of the market there. What's going to happen at this point? Tough to say, but I can see here we're seeing a rise back in again of Ballard. We're seeing Central North basically holding off. That's 469 to 467. They're not really changing that much. And then the overall Seattle marketplace, 445 to 444. Now, let's go take a look at some other things here pretty quickly here. I'm going to need to move this over so I can see it. Let's go look at sales prices then, median, doing that same thing. Excuse me, I want to go back to price per square foot. I want to do the average over the last year. I think that's going to be a little more interesting because it gives us a monthly data point. You can see some different things take place. Here's April. Here's that crest, April, May, June, 555 for that. And we drop down December, the bottom end. That's why we saw that trough. It popped back up in March, and then we started having a decline. And this is probably a reflection of a lower amount of listings on market. July was really dry. Let's go take a look at that pretty quickly here. Our market in July, let me find the July 4th weekend. There it is in the blue on the left. We had some of the lowest amount of listings coming onto market during that time frame. As a result, over here on the right, we had the lowest amount of pendings taking place that we'd seen for quite some while. But we saw a huge surge in new listings that came on after July 4th. So we go back over to the info sparks, and after July, we start seeing that pop back up from 409 right back up to 476 per square foot. Excuse me, per square foot. Now let's go do the same thing with sales price and take a look at that over the 10-year. Here we go. There are the three, and let's take a look at Ballard, which is in the black. Got a little blip there at 480, but we're really down in the 400 range here. High 400, low 400s. And then sure enough, right around 2013, we get a 497, we get a 550, 577. I'm going to turn this back into a 3-month rolling, and that'll be a little more consistent. Here we are, 602. So we've come up, we've doubled since, well, excuse me, that was the high 300s. So we've come up 1/3, not 1/2. And 604, a blip to 700. There's a $700,000 rise right there. And then 807 in June of 2017. And then 879, 875. There you go. I'm reading too fast. And then back down, Ballard showing at 751 from 875. So that was clearly a bubble at that point. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1 year on this and go back to a monthly. And that's pretty jagged, obviously, and this is a reflection of listings coming off of market as well as some of the political turmoil we've been seeing, and also what's been taking place with the stock market. So it has changed some of the habits of buyers. If you're a buyer, this has done pretty well for you to be able to get back into the marketplace. If you're a seller, you're probably wondering what's going to happen next. Let's go take a look at pending sales. I like to take a look at how many actually happened during the different month periods. So let's take a look at the 10-year again on that, and I'm going to roll this back to a 3-month. And we can see there's May, June, July, May, June, July. So that customary surge of activity sure is borne out by this graph, and here we are down the troughs. And what are our numbers over here? 800 down to 400. So here we are at 35 pendings in Ballard, and then 98 pendings. 51 pendings, 91 pendings. 60, 54, 114. So it's fairly consistent. This is a situation where we had less inventory, and all of a sudden the prices really blipped right here, and then buyers retreated, and then we had a good surging in 100 up there. Well, let's take a look at percent of list price. I like to see this too as well. Percent of list price, many people don't understand this, but we're talking about what happens when a house sells and it sells either below or above list price. And we've had historically in the last few years markets that were what we call multiple offer competing markets. So here we are back in the 2010. This is the 100 mark right here, 100%. So we're clearly underneath there. And then we kind of peg out right around 100. We start getting some interesting blips in 2013. This was a very interesting moment. We all were feeling it, kind of popped our heads up and went, wait a minute, we were seeing competing offers all of a sudden. It calmed down a bit, and then it exploded again, calmed down, and then starting around 2015, we went into a consistent multiple offer market. Here's a retreat here in the latter part of the year, which makes sense, November, December, January, February, and then it exploded again at 103% for Ballard, 108% for the central north area, which is pretty amazing. And then everybody just took off in the first part of April, 2018. We're at 111%, 110%, and 106% overall. And then we had the retreat. And then here was our trough right at the end of the year. The market corrected from that and went back to basically 100%. That's over a 10-year. Let's take a look at the 1 year, and I'm going to do the monthly on that. Here is that crest at the middle of last year, and we come back down into the 100%. We drop below it here, and now we're basically pegging out at 100%. So let's go take a look now. Excuse me, by the way, I'm going to be giving you this page as well. This is a link to this, and you can click on these links anytime and get the exact real-time numbers graphs. I'll give you an example here. I'll click on this. I want to see the 10-year median currently, and that will load up, and there you go. That's it. That is as of today, so whenever you click on that, you'll be able to see that in the future. So this is the InfoSparks page. We call it Area Statistics Ballard area. I do this for almost every area in Seattle. Every time we're doing a new market analysis, by the way, we're creating one of these that we can send out to our clients who are interested in that particular area so they can track that. And then every time we do a new market analysis in the area, I will repost the new things. So let's go into Matrix. This is the MLS, and I'm going to take a look now at Ballard. So this is sort of finally getting to the bottom line of what's going on in the marketplace. And I am doing this for a market analysis for a particular client right now. Excuse me for while I take a sip here. Okay, so my search parameters are 32nd on the west, 3rd Avenue on the east, 85th on the north, and Market down on the south. Currently, my criteria is only the last 60 days for sales, and the reason for that is I end up with quite a few matches, 234. My graphing only works up to 250, so I have to keep underneath that. So, but this is pretty accurate. 260 days, excuse me, 234 total properties inside of 60 days. And I'm looking at actives, pending inspections, and pendings and sold. Reminder, pending inspection meaning that those properties that are in contingency phase versus pending, which mean they've already waived their pending phase and they're headed towards closing. I have no differentials over here on the bedrooms bath. So that's the first thing I'm going to take a look at. Here's our overall map. Greens are actives, reds are sold, and yellows are pendings. Now, let's go back and first of all take a look. Ballard's pretty historically high, one of the highest, if not the highest, in terms of new construction being built all the time. So I'm going to put a 2,000 plus in here. And let's take a look at that number now. We went from 234 to 129, right? So just over half of those are new constructions. I'm going to not care about those because that's a different market. So for me to see really what the bulk of the market is doing and where it's moving, I'm going to stay underneath year 2000. It gives me 108. That's a really good number here. Let's go back to the map and see where those are concentrated. They're pretty much all over the thing. Let's do one thing here just for fun. Let's take a look at where the new constructions are more concentrated. And you can see there they are. They're typically along major arterials and in the higher density locations. So back to our 2000 minus, and we're looking at, what did I say, 108? Let's go ahead and first of all, just go ahead and select all of those. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at that overall market of 2000 minus, and we'll see that currently there are 19 active on market, low end at 655,000. So there's your entry level currently into the marketplace. And we have a handful here in the 1,000,001 to 2,000,025. Excuse me, 1,000,025. 1,000,001 to 1,000,025. Now for pendings, we currently have 19 actives and we have 16 pendings. And our pendings start at basically, I'll round up some numbers and round down numbers when I do this. I'm looking at 600,000. There's a group of them within the 600 range. Here's our 700 range, just one. Then we hit 800, and that's quite a few of them. And then we touch the $1 million mark right about here. So there's not really a great spread on that. Pending inspections, we've got 7 of those versus the 16 pendings, right? 19 active, 16 pending, and 7 pending inspection. Let's go back here quickly. I want to look at CDOM, cumulative days on market. Average right now is 28. If I pulled out the 131 here, we'd probably see that come down to about 20, I'm betting. What's our pendings are showing, again, we've got 2 anomalies here, 120, 182 and 103. So this 34 probably would be a little bit lower. 37 on the pending inspections. That's quite interesting. Now let's go look at our solds. Last 60 days, bottom end of them are at 500, 495. These are probably pretty distressed properties. We start, call it at 500. Here we go to 600. That's that grouping there. 6 to 7 is right here. That's quite a bit of them. 700s. And then our 800s, excuse me, there we go. So really our 6 and 7 and 8 is right where the center of the marketplace is. And yet, interestingly, our median price, our average price is 805. Our median is 792, and basically showing at 100.42 sale price list price ratio, which means that it's a fairly balanced market. We do have some properties that are correcting. Here's 800 going to 845. Looking for the big ones here. Here's 725 going to 795, 109.66. Here's 700 to 760. We also have the opposite thing taking place where we start at, call that 890, call it 900, and dropping to 827. There's a 92%. Let's find another one of those. Here's $1 million dropping to 960. And here's $1.1 million dropping to $1.055. Here's one popping up 115%. Let's go take a look at those listings now. I'm going to do one more set of criteria filtering here. Hang on for a quick second. All right, so I want to take a look at how many of these listings sold in 8 days or less. That's an important factor here. And for the last 60 days, now let's go ahead and take out the actives, pendings, and pending inspection. I only care about the last 60 days of solds. There's 66 of them, and if I tell them I only want to see those that sold in 8 days, interesting. So 40 of the 66 sold in 8 days or less. That is over half, barely. And let's take a look at those results, and I'm going to do another statistical analysis on those. Okay, here we go. Here is another way of looking at things. So these are properties that are 8 days or less on market. My CDOM column there, coming down, you can see the numbers. Here's one anomaly, somehow snuck in there. I'm not sure what happened there. And there's one at 93. So hang on for a quick second. I'm going to clean that up. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure how MLS does that, but it does occasionally. So if I look at CDOM column here, you can see they're consistently under 8 days on market, and obviously I filtered it for that. So if I've got, now I'm at 38 properties total out of that 60, call it 64, so just a little bit over half sold in 8 days or less. So that tells me a lot about this marketplace. It tells me that currently it is still very active, and it's still very, somewhat, I'll call it incendiary. And as you can see, I'm looking at these numbers and giving my observation as I see them. It's not like I come into this conversation today or this talk with my mind already made up as to what I'm looking for. My full sale price list price ratio is at 102.33, and that basically says a property is going to go up approximately $20,000. That's our range. Where are some of our anomalies here? Let's go down into the central area here. There's an anomaly at 45,000. There's one at 42,000 roughly. 725 to 795. 700 to 760. Here's 136. There's only 15,000, so it gets a little bit smaller down here in the bottom end. But what it tells me here is that there. Let's do that. Let's take a look at how many. We'll go look at it this way. I can. Forgive for the delay here, but I think you'll find this interesting. I'm able to do another Here we go. So I've added a column in here, 2 columns actually. This is the sale price to list price ratio. So we have 6 that are under 1%, excuse me, 100%. We have, what do we got here? Here we go. 11 of that 40 basically sold at list price. And then we have a grouping here. Let me undo these really quickly. We have a grouping here that start at the 102 mark and head up from there. We have 16 that sell at the 102 plus range. And if I were to look at those only, just for interest sake, 106.4 average. These are the anomalies. And it tells me that the range, let's call this 860 to 912, 913, call that $70,000. So there's a healthy number of properties that have sold within $70,000 at $70,000 on average over list price. And so it tells me that the marketplace currently is doing that. Now, that seems obviously in opposition to what I see in the info sparks. But that just talks to me about the amount of pendings that are going on market and the average price per square foot and what they're selling for, but excuse me, what the prices are. But the other set of numbers tell me that it's pretty active. Now let's go back to one more thing here and say, if I'm a buyer in the marketplace, what am I experiencing? So with this look, I'm looking back at only solds that have closed in the last 30 days. It's probably something, if I'm a buyer that's been on market for a while, this is probably something that I have seen and said no to or didn't get. And I'm looking at the current amount of pendings, current amount of pending inspections, et cetera. So let's go take a look at those results really quickly and we can wrap this up. Hit stats, hit price. There we go, one more time on stat. And if I'm not interested in new construction, right now I only have, what is that, 7? Yep, properties available to me in the marketplace to take a look at that are built before 2000. So we've got this, which is really kind of like almost like a 2000. It's a townhome, but it was built evidently prior to 2000. I'm not sure how they got that one in there. Here is a little brick thing for $789. 1 day on market just hit. Dawn Berto is an intelligent agent, so curious what she's planning on doing about that. Let's take a look in the interior. Typical brick box. That's 3 bedrooms, 1.75 at 2,220 square feet. Ballard Tudor, 0 days on market, just hit 15th and Northwest 67th at $795. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,040 square feet. Classic interior, looks like a Tudor. Second floor, main floor, bathroom, basement bath. Looks like a smallish backyard. Let's see what the lot size is on that. 2250, that's really tiny for Seattle. Okay, next up at 815 is this property. This is kind of a weird house. I've seen this. It's got square footage, but it's somebody at some point really changed the architecture of it, and it's kind of an albatross, frankly, in its layout. That's brand new, 2 days on market. This is new construction. Not sure how that gets in here. On market. What do we got here? $1,150,000. Rebuilt Cape Cod. Looks like we got 2 houses in one. So that doesn't matter to us. And got this. All right, now we're into the pendings. Interesting. What happened to my pending inspection? Interesting. Okay, so again, I'm not seeing, forgive me for being surprised, but remember, this is real-time info. me check my criteria one more time. This is 0 to 8 days. That's why. My apologies. Let's go back and take a look. I bet there's some more actives on market. Indeed, there are. So we've got a number of properties that have been on market in excess of 10 days. Look at these. 182, 167, 131. Well, if you're a buyer on market and something's 30 days or more on market, you've decided you don't want to buy that. There's a reason for that. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out and come back up. And let's go ahead and refine that and discard those for now. So now we're looking back at only the 30 days on market. So again, if I am a buyer on market, go back to my price. So again, my entry level is at $695. There's that townhome we saw. Here's a $750, a little 1,000 square foot remodel, Loyal Heights. Okay, nicely done at 77th and 18th. Here we jump to 760, 9 days on market. Got 1 bedroom in the main and 2 down in the basement. Obviously in very good condition. Lower level. $3,880 square foot, so it's the smallest backyard at 769 days on market. We are 769, 15 days on market at 27th and 80th, 8005. Very well may be. Yeah, it's not the corner house, but it's next to on 80th there, which obviously is a very busy street. 2 beds on the main, 2 bedrooms downstairs at call it 770, 4 total, 1.75, 1,400 square feet. And again, a smallish lot at 3,880. Yeah, that's a small looking house. Got lots of light. It's basically almost a shotgun house. Beds will be on the right. They've obviously redone the kitchen quite nicely and pushed out the back side of the house at one point. There you are, looking forward again. New vinyl double panes. Downstairs. Downstairs, they've got an ingress-egress window and another one, so those are real bedrooms. And no real backyard to speak of. You've got a big parking pad. You've got this area right there. That's at 769. This is the brick place we talked about a minute ago, 789, 1 days on market. So we'll see what happens with that. Same thing here, 0 days on market, 795. Saw this house as well. This started at 825, coming down to 800. When you have the word opportunity in the first sentence, you can pretty much guess what you're going to get. A lot of square footage, 1930, 5,000 square foot lot, 4 bedrooms, 2.75 bath, but a lot of work in front of you to bring it in to the future. This one I spoke about before, Albatross, 2 days on market. And that, by the way, is at 73rd and 13th, just south of the school. 9 days on market, 850. 27th and 80th. 3 beds, 1.75 baths, only 1,220 square feet on a 3,880 square foot lot. And you can sense that by looking at the width of the front of the house. A little small area there, small area there. Fair sized kitchen though. Eating nook. This is a fairly vertical house. These are pretty steep stairs, typical to a farmhouse of that era. Got a smallish bedroom there, barely big enough for a bed. Here's a second floor. Looks like it's been pushed out. Yeah, it has. Got your bath up there, your 3/4. Here's our lower level. That's a pleasant lot. So here's a push up here and then a push out here. back alley. All right, there we go. Next up, if you're a buyer, interesting. So we jumped from 850 to 875. This started at 915, 3 bedrooms, 2.25 baths, 3,300 square foot lot. Again, 73rd and 9th. Let's go take a look. Sorry about that. I wanted to see one thing. So we got one in the main, 2 upstairs, and a 3/4 bath up. Here we go. So obviously, very well done kitchen. Modest bathroom. Interesting room. I would have called this I'm betting this is a bedroom, and they've decided they wanted to put that in there because they don't have a formal dining room. Is that what's going on here? Let's walk in the front door. Here's garage, front door, window, window. So we got a window on the right here, and a window on the left then, because this must be a wall where the sofa is. Yes, it is. So there's probably a bedroom over there. Kitchen in the back right corner. Yep, that's looking back forward to the front of the house, and this is on the right as you look at it from the front. And this would be in the back. That may be upstairs. I'm trying to figure that out. Back left. So they've taken the back left bedroom and staged it as a dining room. Upstairs, smallish. And a second little bedroom. Is that the same one? No. No. A kid's room downstairs. Looks like engineered floors they've dropped in. Pleasant backyard. Okay, so that's at 875. And Jim Elliott, never heard of him. This is from an agent. This is from a real estate agency, Windermere, but they're out of area. This guy is not in his area. Let's go to the next. Okay, and then we'll get out of this because we're starting to get into numbers that don't matter to us at this point. Okay, 1,250. Okay, so this is now pending inspection. I just saw this a couple days ago come on. I'm sorry, come on as pending inspection. 760, 18 days on market, 1,580 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.75 baths, a very small lot at 2,300, I'll call it, at 80th and 9th. Fairly original kitchen. There's my phone going off. That's a pretty modest upstairs, right out of the 50s or 60s with the, this is the press board paneling. Second room upstairs. There you go. Got your knotty pine panel downstairs. It's a pretty small room. And a little space back there, clearly not a bedroom. Laundry, bathroom, smallish backyard. Okay, next up for the pendings. This thing, 819, 24 days on market, but they dropped to 789 before they got into pending inspection status. Let's see what their history was on this. They came on the 9th, and then 10 days later elected to lower price. And that's indicative of an agent that's really keeping the finger on the pulse. The market basically said, no, this agent knew that. I'm making this up, but I think I'm right. I think it's probably accurate, I should say. Drops price 10 days later because he didn't get anything or she didn't get anything. And then 3 days later, they get an offer and go into pending inspection status. What can take place sometimes is if I've got a property on market at a particular price and then I get an offer that's lower and we know we're going to work with it, we may lower our price down into that range that we're negotiating it to force the buyer to recognize that they're not the only person that recognizes we would drop price. So that very well could have taken place here. Let's take a look here at this mid-century box. These are very desirable these days. Lots of people love them. So that makes sense. And that is a 1.75, and they've got good size, 2480 on a 4,200 square foot lot. So 789 probably gets close to that because they're pending inspection. Next up, 594. Don't really care about that. 8 days on market, went directly to pending, so it probably had a multiple offer situation. This is a 0 lot line, so don't care about that. Here's a little 2270 on 4th. Let's take a look at the So this is that section right there where 65th starts to rise up the hill and connects to 3rd Northwest. It's kind of almost industrial. Not a super desirable location. That might be what influenced this particular price. 8 days on market, pending. Let's take a look at what happened to them. 827. Did they have a pending inspection status? No, they went directly to pending, so it's probably a multiple offer. And you can see right here, let's take a look at the remarks here. This will be of interest to you. 8 offers due noon, 827. So we'll review offers on that review date, 827, and sure enough, the actual date that they went pending was the 27th, and there's no pending inspection, so they probably had multiple offers, pre-inspections, etc. And this is a Ballard Windermere agent that did this. So lower level bathroom, upper level. I would have assumed that was lower level, but no, there's a second level bathroom. There we go. Lower level, non-conforming bedroom. Actually, it's just the basement space. Fairly wild outdoor. That's at that location. I think the location is what drove the price down on that, or what kept it down. Excuse me. 1 bedroom and 1 bedroom. This is only a 2-bedroom house. I'm spending all this time thinking it's a 3.175, 3 and 1.75, but I'm wrong. Next up, my apologies. Third and 81st, so just north of 80th, 1880 square feet, 4,800 square foot, 4 beds, 1.75 baths. This is pending. This went pending inspection, however, 818 to 224, and then went back to pending on the 29th. Now very attractive from outside. Second floor. Well, they paved over the backyard and put up this bunker thing with a lower level. God, interesting. That's not something everybody wants, that's for sure. Yeah. That's a pretty ugly house. 685, 15 days on market. 688 goes pending, goes directly to pending in 1 day. So what does that probably tell us? Somebody wrote an offer that was compelling enough that the seller took the offer immediately. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1760 square feet, 5,700 square foot lot at 688. Yeah, it's underpriced. So we'll see that at a higher price, sale price, that's for sure. Okay, next up, that's 83rd and Dibble. Here's one of these skinny minis, we call these, that were popular in the 80s. Now we're jumping from 745 in terms of pinning up to now 825, 7 days on market. I bet this goes, let's see if I'm right, and I'm just guessing. Yes, this goes directly into pending. List on the 15th, and the agent tells us in the listing that they were going to take offers on the 21st, and it shows up as pending on the 22nd. And one more thing here, just to double check it, it looks like it was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that they went into the pending status. No, very likely. And it says verbal offer acceptance, waiting Weichert, no further offers are showing. So it probably had multiple offers: 825, 2420 square feet, 5080 square foot house or lot, 4 beds, 1.5 baths. Well, let's take a look. Typical brick squat Tudor. Whoops, nicely done interior. Forgive me on that. Mouse is getting a little crazy. Nice French doors out to the back. Looks like we've got a studio unit out there. Second floor, other side. And then a wing. I'll go main floor on that, or basement. And then this is basement, 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 basement. Very nicely done out back. So this, to me, let's take a look at our location again. I would suspect that this sold healthily over list price. 825. This could have gone into the 880 mark, 890 mark, possibly. I've not been doing price per square foot, but I would be taking a look at that as well. Okay, so here we are at 865, and let's do the same thing. If this thing went pending, yeah, I went directly to pending. So this one probably crested 4 beds, 2 baths, 366 per square foot. $2,360 total square foot of a Craftsman. Yeah, this one probably bumped way up. Nice French doors there. Heading out of the kitchen. Up to the second floor. Lower level. Okay. Our layout is 2 on the main, 2 in the upper, 1 in the main, and 1 down in the basement. That one is a non-conforming downstairs. 865. All right, from that point, we're heading up and out of territory. So 3480 square foot lot, 2750. All right, I'll finish this up to 900,000 just to check it out. 2 bedrooms on main, 2 on the top. 2750 square foot. So this is a really good square footprint, large footprint on this house. You can tell it. You can feel the larger layout. Second floor, second floor, second floor, basement, 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 basement. And that's it on that. And let's go to, let's here at 889 pending, 1 day on market. 4 bedrooms on the main and 1 on the upper. So we're in a 5-bedroom configuration, and somebody just jumped on this. This is a large lot at almost 7,000 square foot lot, 2,510 square foot, 2.25 baths. You got yourself, is that a garage or a big, looks like almost a big RV workshop room. So this thing's been very 60s or 70s. It's almost like this is a lower level apartment. Let's say that's lower level. Yeah, I think they're still in the house there. Okay, next up, and we're cresting the 900 mark. So let's go back in review here. The majority of properties that I saw, let's see if I can find one of these that has my, there we go, area market survey, 650 through 900. I'm looking at this quantity number over here, so 53555. That's the bulk of our market, 650. So let's go take a look at that really quickly, and then I'm going to shut this down. If you're still watching this, it means you've got better patience than most. But this is how we do it. I'm going to revise my criteria last time now, 650 to 900, 2,000 or earlier. And for some consistency, there's 56 of them. I'm going to give it a 3-bedroom configuration now, because a 2-bedroom would be priced higher per square foot just because of the nature of it being a smaller property, but still in the marketplace. 34 matches, 30 days. Let's go 60 days to pick up some more statistics and go to the results on that. And this tells me what I'm looking for now is price per square foot. So I'm just going to check them all. Let me get anything out of there that was really long on market. I'll take out these two that are over 30 days on market. So what this is telling me now, this is the market that the buyers prefer. This is the sweet spot of the marketplace. And in that sweet spot, we have, in that sweet spot, I might not record that last thing, so I'll say it again. This is the sweet spot of the marketplace. Those properties that sold 30 days or less in that 650 to 900 range. And if I look at my sale price ratios, let me get this to a 50. I guess we only have 29 total. There's the amount that sold over list price. There's the ones that sold at list price, and that's what sold just under list price. And then these are for the actives and pendings that are currently on market. So let's go ahead and take a look at that statistics on those, and we'll call it quits. And what I'm after here is price per square foot averages. Average price per square foot for current listings on market is $503 per square foot, and yet the pendings are at $473. Pending inspections are at $400, but that's only 2. That's not really enough. Neither are those, I'm afraid. So here's 400 and 473, 447, it's 448 per square foot, right? So when we looked at those properties that sold faster than 6 days, 7 days on market, we've got anything from 315 all the way up to 538 in terms of price per square foot. Look at that, 641. That's amazing. So if I am a 3-bedroom, 1.75 bath on house plan on going on market, and let's say I'm 2,200 to 2,400 square feet in size, and I'm comparing myself to the sold properties here. Here, the top end is at 2,170 at $405 per square foot, 2,330 at $375 per square foot. Typically, the higher square footage is going to be a little bit lower. The higher square footage will be a lower price per square foot. Here's 373. Here is 24 at 386, 405, 375, 373, 386, 358. So let's play with that. Let's go to 375. Let's do a quick calculation here. Then, if I'm seeing these numbers at between 350 and 400 for those 2,000 square foot or higher, then let's play with that. Let's say 350 times 2,200 Try that again. 350 times. There we go. That's 770. 770. 350 times 2400 is 840. 770, 840. That's quite a differential there. Let's go 375 times 2200, 825, and then 375 times 2400, put you at 900. So you're up in the upper ranges here, statistically, against the averages that are out there. That's where the marketplace sits. And again, one last time, our marketplace currently is giving us, what did we determine? Just over half. So let's just call it half of the marketplace has been moving in 8 days or less on the marketplace. Okay, so I know this is a long time. This has been a long recording, but that is a full market analysis for a 3-bedroom, 1.75 bath home in the center of Ballard.